Dyson Heppell, thanks for joining me.
Yes. Let's go, Darth.
Do you want to pull in a bit?
Yes.
I reckon you pull in a bit.
No worries, mate.
Just enjoyed an absolute monster.
What do you
Tomahawk.
reckon? How many kegs? We would have had, I don't know how much meat we just nailed.
Oh, it was 1.45 kilos, but had a bone as well.
Yeah, I'm chockers. Did the trick. Delicious, mate. Well done. Thank you.
I appreciate that. I'll tell you what, sitting down with people, I've always said that I'm grateful for the people who come on the podcast, but sitting down with people that I've sort of grown up watching, because we're only 3 years apart. But I started watching football when you was perhaps at your peak at the start.
Nice.
When I was like, that was in an era where there was not much social media. So like getting your mates around and watching the footy, and that was just like a part of my life that you just never forget. So to sit down with people like you, mate, it means a lot.
Love it, brother. Thank you. Yeah, had the big dreads back then, mate. Would have been flowing around.
You miss them?
Nah, not at all. Yeah. Not at all, actually. Had them for about 10 years. They were well done, but we did find them in a bag the other day when we were cleaning up the house. That was a bit rogue, but yeah. Oh, gee.
I mentioned before the Leongatha, growing up in Leongatha, and I saw a quote that you said about your childhood, so I thought we'd take it back there at the start and get stuck into a deep chat. I was a really bad sport when I was young. So I was really bad at sport when I was young. I was a shocker. I cracked tantrums. I'd be crying if we lost, all that jazz. So I'm not sure. The character of my parents instilled those type of values in me as a kid, and my brothers are the same. We're optimistic, positive, outgoing people, and we try to see the light in most situations. What do you think about when you hear that?
Oh, yeah, it just takes me back to memories of a kid. And, I was good at sport, but I was a bad sport. I was a little shit, actually. I just remember basketball tournaments in particular, if things weren't going my way, if I got, fouls called on me, or, I wasn't dropping as many points as I would have liked, I'd just spit the dummy. I'd be crying. I remember kicking a chair when I come off once, and just like, that's it. 11, 12 years of age, through that phase of my life, which was really, it was interesting looking back. And I don't know why I was like that. I was competitive as all hell. I think I put it down to that. I was just so competitive, and growing up with an older brother and younger brother, Azar, we were just running amok back at home, and any game that we would play would always be competitive as hell, and someone would end up crying. But look, mate, I think and just learnt a lot of lessons through that period. Then you get you start to understand that it has an impact on others around you, and that's probably when I grew up a bit and stopped. Had that awareness and understanding that I'm impacting other people around me rather than just myself, and it's not all about me. So
what were you noticing?
I think it was more just the energy and what I was portraying. Other teammates might be a bit more standoffish or a bit more wary of when I was going to spit it or whatever, and that makes them uncomfortable, And it's not that I had that awareness at 12 years of age, but I think you look back now when you get a bit older and you go, "Oh, you little shit." But
how important are those traits, nonetheless, as to who you are now? Like,
yeah, for sure. Like I think, going through that younger phase of my life, I had an unbelievable upbringing, just incredible. But I think learning those lessons now and looking back on it, there's. I'm certainly not proud of how I interacted and acted at times, but I think it shaped a lot of my demeanour and character towards others in particular as I matured. But I do remember when I really flicked a switch when I made I think it was the under 12 state team in basketball and footy, and I remember the coaches having a really sort of not a firm convo, but they were just questioning as to why I got a bit upset and things like that. And, it made me become aware of it and question it myself then. And, there were points of, I think it was nearly an embarrassment. So it really made me change and have a look at myself.
Did you learn to harness it in a way then?
I guess so. I guess it was an acknowledgement and an acceptance of it. You don't have that dialogue or awareness or language as a kid, but looking back now, I think that was it. It was like, being able to accept that that's how I behave, but then go, okay, I can change that. I have a decision. I can control that. I do. Yeah, it was sort of just a real turning point at that sort of 12 years old when I sort of trimmed it in.
How old were you here?
Oh, look at this. That is a rough melon. Look at that. Looks like I've cut my own hair too. A little bowl cut. That's a pisser.
That's so good.
I reckon it'd be 5,
Yeah, okay,
maybe.
okay.
Just like real young. It'd be nearly grade prep, I think.
Okay.
That's a classic.
What would you tell him?
Oh, tell a 5-year-old Dice. Man, I think it'd just be like just enjoy your upbringing. Like, you've got incredible friends around you. You've got beautiful parents, a great family, and life's going to be tough at times, but everything you go through is going to make you a better person. So embrace it all, the ups and downs, and just give it a good crack. Yeah.
Were you naturally curious as a kid, do you think?
Naturally curious. I was always willing to have a dig at things. Played, a lot of footy, a lot of basketball. Sport was a massive part of my life as a kid, growing up in Leongatha back in the country. But I think so.
Do you think you were destined? And I use the word destined because I saw a photo of you with Dustin Fletcher, and I see a lot of kids that end up doing what you've done. Or when I say kids, I mean sportsmen that, even Joel Smith, for example, the other day, he said that like there was no plan B. Like it was, I was going to be a sportsman.
Yeah, fair call. I remember her mum showed me a letter that I'd wrote in grade 2 that what did you want to be when you grow up? I was either an NBA player or an AFL footballer, and quickly shelved the b-ball route and footy was it. But I guess I had this natural drive, desire, commitment to want to be the best I could possibly be. And as I got older and through my teens, playing in state teams and things like that, realising I had the capacity to match it with some of the best in Australia, and then that AFL dream soon being on the cusp of a reality. I think in the last sort of from 16 onwards, I committed everything to pursuing that AFL dream. But I don't think it was like there's absolutely no plan B. If it doesn't pan out, it was more so just a sheer dedication to try my best to make it.
When you look back on your career, would you say that period of your life where you were like, I perhaps can make it, was the best? Because I always say that whilst the hardest part of my career, let's just say, is probably right now, it's the building phase that is the most exciting for me. And it's a story that I'm going to tell one day.
Love it.
So like I'll look back on what I'm doing now and I'm like, this is going to be the time that I love the most. But at the time, it's sort of hard to accept that is the best time.
Yeah. No, it's a fair point, and it's probably. So I wouldn't say it was the best time because I think then there's all the challenges and just to get one game, to play one game, and then stay consistent and then build and forge your career. So there's so many pivotal moments throughout the career that I go, they were pivotal to my growth and my journey. But as you say, I'm just really proud of sort of that 15, 16-year-old kid that I realised I had a lot of work to do to match it with some of the best in Australia. And I remember just like getting really dialed into, my diet, my training habits, my fitness, my mental capacity. I was just, dialed into trying to get the best out of myself to try and match it with the best players. So, it was an awesome little few years there of just real growth from 16 to 18, and really boosted my draft stocks throughout my 17 and 18-year-old self coming through.
What were the lifestyle changes you made at that age? Yeah,
I think primarily around my extra training that I would do outside of the group. You'd have your standard sort of training back with Leongatha and with the Parrots there, and playing a little bit of senior footy from, it's at 15, 16, and then you come through the Gippsland Power pathway. But you only meet once a week for training because Gippsland's so big. So it was more about the discipline that I put in to have extra cross-training sessions and getting up early and, going to the pool to punch out laps before school, or just always having a footy in my hand, getting curious about different gym programs. And I remember my older brother, Jamin, was right into his lifting and, asking him to help write me a program and take me to the gym and show me how to do things. So, just got a real passion and desire to have a good crack.
It's a brain and a mindset that I think you're either born with or you're not. Like, there are people that are similar to you. I think I just got a flashback to thinking about Dan Hanbury when I spoke to him. And he said, I spoke with someone beforehand that said he had memories of him when he was just like out on the field running, rain, hail or shine, but after school.
Yep.
Because I think he lived across the road from the football oval, the guy that I spoke to.
Yep.
He said he would just peek out and he'd always see Dan just training.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think you're born with that sort of stuff. Hey?
Yeah, I don't. Well,
or you are, sorry.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it's a lot I attribute to my dad. Dad was he was a good country footballer, and I remember he was always encouraging us to be outdoors and go and have a dig, and we'd go for 5K runs together, and then we'd have a crack at a bit of sprint training with him, and just making things up as we go. But he'd always just be pushing us to be a better version of ourselves, and I loved it. I loved but different again to my little brother Azza. Like he'd hate it. Like I'd be out the door and going for a run, and Az would be like, he'd get stuffed, or he'd be on his pushy and then, want Dad to push him up the hill, things like that. So it's funny how you can be from the same family with very different makeups. But I think a lot of that to attribute to both my parents, actually, just being really active and pretty dialed in with their careers too.
You got a glow in your eyes when you talk about this stuff. I mean, it's a good time in your life, obviously.
Well, no doubt, man. I think it's, as you mature and you get to, I'm in my 30s now, and you just look back and you just go, shit, I'm very grateful for my upbringing and the people around me, as I spoke about. And because so many people that I've crossed paths with over my career, you realise it wasn't like that for a lot of them. Everyone comes from a different walk of life and have their own challenges, and you sort of get quite an insight to how people are the way they are due to the circumstances they grew up in.
What would you attribute the best part of yourself or who you are as a person now to that childhood? Is there any aspect or component of who you are that you think is part of the reason why you are today?
Oh, I think it's a whole combination of accumulation, as you say, of experiences, of your family, your friends, those that you're surrounded by, but also like even towards role models and heroes as a kid. I loved footy. I loved basketball, watched endless hours of Michael Jordan. I'd fake sickies to stay home from school so I could watch the NBA. And then childhood heroes as footy players, love Simon Black and Chris Judd and Hurdy and guys like this just dominating in their prime. And I remember just wanting to go and put my kit on and go and kick a Sharon out in the front yard and playing so many games with Fletchy. You go, Fletch, that's back home at a local clinic, one of the first times I ever met an AFL player. And
do you remember that moment?
Yeah, sure do.
Really?
Yeah. No, I had clear memories of, I don't remember much. I've got a horror memory actually as a kid. But that was with Fletch and Sean Wellman, Mark McVeigh, Dean Solomon. They were down there as well, end up playing alongside Fletch, alongside Spikey McVeigh, and Sean Wellman coached me as my defensive coach at a period, and they were the first three players I ever met, so pretty cool.
Did you learn the importance of communication at a young age?
Oh.
Because I've got fond memories of you always being a clear communicator. Yeah, I'm sure people have told you that before.
Yeah, I think I was a pretty just outgoing, confident, optimistic type of kid, so I was always... once I learnt to stop spitting the dummy and tried to more so encourage and inspire others around me, had those natural, I guess you'd call them, leadership tendencies from a young age. And I think I was always very encouraging. I was never really put others down around me or tried not to make anyone feel bad. I was more so, quite a welcoming, optimistic type of kid.
Do you think if you weren't spitting the dummy that you wouldn't have developed those leadership traits?
It's a good point. Maybe. So it's sort of the other end of the spectrum, isn't it? So, I guess the more I've gone throughout my life, it's like these type of environments and situations shape who you are, and no doubt that would have played a big part of that.
I saw your now wife say your care and your generosity is unmatched. I think a quote from her. Was that was that something that you just learnt over the journey to adopt? Because it's something that I've seen throughout your content and everything, getting to know you more through your content, that is pretty obvious.
Yeah, thanks, KT. That's very sweet. I think, I don't know, I just have this natural tendency to to want to make others feel good, you know, and in a selfish way, the more you give and the more you put time into others, the more it lifts me up and makes me feel better, you know. So, and it makes me want to do it more. So I think I think the stuff upon reflection primarily throughout the career, the times I look back on and go, shit, I put a fair bit of time into trying to help develop others and inspire and encourage and celebrate other people's wins along the way. And I go, yeah, that's the shit that I'm really proud of, you know. The stuff that actually fulfills me is that I tried to make others around me better, and hopefully they've had a better experience for me being around them and in their life.
Did that come at a detriment to yourself at times?
I'm
grilling you.
I probably learnt. In particular, I'll probably go to leadership here. I did learn that I had to take the time for myself to give myself the space and energy to feel really good within myself to then be able to be the best version of me for others, if that makes sense. At times I'd probably just give, found it hard to say no to things, and just carried a lot, particularly throughout when I first took over the role as captain. I was 24. And felt like I was burning the candle from both ends, just doing too much for everyone else. And then soon learnt that, you know, my best leadership and the best version of me is when I feel energized and inspired and you know, have a bit of vigor in my life, and made sure that I really dialed in on taking care of me, making sure I felt really good first before then being able to give a lot of myself to others.
Did you know, I mean, we sort of skipped the you actually getting into the AFL. How was that?
Yeah. Just an incredible journey. Yeah. Just like, you know, I think the vision of it coming to life sort of became a reality midway through my top age year with Gippsland Power. Had a really good state carnival with Vic Country, was an All-Australian, was the MVP for Vic Country throughout that carnival. So I've soon thought, look, this is probably going to happen if I can just continue enjoying my footy and staying consistent, then be a big shot here. And, you know, that was at the stage where you're having interviews with AFL teams, and getting to experience all of that was really cool. And going to the draft camp and just giving it my best crack there as I possibly could. And, you know, I met with every AFL team throughout my top age year, bar Essendon. They're the only club I didn't talk to. And leading up to the draft, I got invited to the draft up on the Gold Coast. Was being held up there, and night before the draft, I got a call from Haych, and he said, "Look, Dice, we hear you're a chance of slipping through to our pick tomorrow night. We're keen to come and interview you. Would you happen to be up on the Gold Coast?" And I said, "Yeah, mate, we're here, but we're staying at the Burleigh Heads Caravan Park, so." You know, if you want to roll around, I'll let you in the boom gate and you can come in and sit around our tent. So here's me, you know, in my boardies, singlet, bare feet, Burleigh Heads Caravan Park. Hurdy and his posse and all the recruiting staff came rolling around the corner, put in the code of the boom gate, and they came in, sat around on our camp chairs around our tent for my pre-draft interview while they had a couple of stubbies with Dad. And, you know, that was my interview before the following night getting picked up at pick number 8 in the national draft to go to the Dons. So incredible little ride, that bit. Yeah.
Good memories, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Your obsessive side of yourself, was that, you know, when did that, do you remember being at that age, 15, 16, 17? I remember you saying that sort of when it developed. Did it go to another level when you started playing footy then?
Yeah, no doubt. I think it was a really healthy commitment through those younger years, just the discipline that I dialed in, and then got drafted, had a really enjoyable pre-season, just loved it, loved getting the best out of myself, managed to get a nod for round 1 in my first year, and played every game in my first year, which was you know pretty cool. Had an awesome little trajectory from the early phases, but I think, you know, getting those little wins on the board and the proof that if you do the work, you achieve more. I was kind of like, I got really obsessive with my training, with my diet, with all of that aspect. And, you know, it soon probably went from, you know, a healthy, just a elite environment to me becoming really obsessed. So I went down a bit of a path of, you know, disordered eating, thinking I knew what I needed, and it just wasn't healthy in the end. And that was sort of in my second and third years where that sort of got to a path of, man, I'm going a bit over the edge here and stripping away, you know, every bit of fat off my food and, you know, not consuming anywhere near the calories that I should have to be performing at my best. But at the same time, still performing okay. So I thought I was doing the right thing. It took quite a while to learn and actually listen to those around me that I wasn't dialing in my nutrition in the right way, in the right capacity. So, and Kate was doing nutrition at the time, so I should have been listening to her, but for me, I didn't want to hear it. I thought I knew best, and I'm really glad I sort of navigated and got out the other side of that period, because, you know, disordered eating or eating disorders can become a real problem in people's lives.
You said that was second or third year, you said?
Yeah, I reckon at about sort of 19, 20. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And when did the whole drug start? I don't want to dwell on it. I know you've spoken about it before. When did that happen?
Yeah, so it was about the same age. So 2012 was when that at first kicked off in my second season of AFL footy. You know, and that was just a really trying period right through until the final verdict of a 12-month sanction for 34 players in 2016. So, you know, it was a bit of a 4-year period of just cloudy murkiness over the pure joy and fun of footy that I was absolutely loving. Just put a bit of a dark cloud over that throughout that period. So,
is there a memory or a thought process or anything you go back to often during that time?
Oh, look, I think I've done a lot of work to be able to be at peace, you know, with that period of my life. And it's far out, man. We talk about adversity shaping who you are. It shapes so much of who I am to this day. I think the mental resolve, the character that I built, the empathy that I had towards others, the relationships that I built right throughout that period, you know, held me in really good stead. Learned so much throughout that period. But I think the bits I go back on and go, fuck, it was just crazy. Like the media every single day, like parked in the car park of the club. So you know, every time you got out of your car, you'd be stopped for a question. They'd follow you to the door before you got in the club. And yeah, just getting, you know, sitting at a cafe and people just dishing slang across the street, or
Kate got involved, I remember you saying.
Yeah, Kate says she's always just there to. She'll back me up no matter what goes down. She's got my back, so she'd go back pretty fiery at times, and yeah, that was but that was the hard bit about the whole thing, was it impacted so many other people around me with family and Kate and friends. So just very fortunate to have an awesome support network at the time, and other players that we went through it together with to lean on, and really proud of the entire playing group for what we navigated. Was the first time in the history of the AFL that something like that had ever happened. It will never happen again. So, look, it's a unique journey. It's a unique chapter, something I never wish I went through, but at the same time going, well, it shaped a shitload of who I am. In a way, I'm grateful for it, and gave me so much joy coming out the back end of that, towards the back end of my career, and just knowing how quickly footy can be stripped away. So enjoy that chapter, enjoy that journey.
I'm good friends with one of the 34. I tried to call him this morning, but he didn't pick up. I won't say who it is because he'll probably get annoyed. But more so just to talk about you as a leader, I guess, at the time. You mentioned in another conversation you learned during that period what football actually meant to you. What did you mean when you said that?
Yeah, I think it's, just as I touched on, was knowing how quickly that can just be stripped away, and not being able to play for that whole 12 months, let alone footy, let alone any competitive sport at any level. It was more so, okay, like every time I get the opportunity to either train or run out there on game day, I'm gonna absorb it as much as I possibly can. The whole environment, you know, the grounds I get to play on, the players I get to play with and against, like so grateful. Like I've just had incredible experiences throughout my career, and like footy can be a bloody tough caper at the best of times. So, you know, coming through that saga, it's like, shit, we managed to bunker down, played reasonable footy and decent footy throughout that journey while we were going through a genuine shitstorm off field. So once I navigated all of that, it's like, all right, how much fun can I actually have with my footy without the rest of the murky stuff going on in the background? And still comes with a hell of a lot of scrutiny, media, you know, the demands of trying to be consistent week in, week out, let alone my own internal pressure that I put on myself. So it's, you know, it taught me so much, footy in general, but just had a lot of joy towards the back end of my career in particular.
It's funny, that's something the public, even the biggest supporters wouldn't know, like the whole consistency thing.
Yeah.
Like that, and that weighs on people. But, you know, you rock up to I remember going to football games and like, I viewed you guys as like not even human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like it's just like a different.
Yeah.
And then you realize that they're people that go home and sleep in a bed with it. You know, they're like us, no difference. And I've sort of learned that over this period with, I remember sitting with Brett Deledio episode 2, I was like, this is crazy. And then in 5 minutes, you're like, wow, he's just a normal person. But you don't think about that when you're...
Nah, you don't. And we're all just blokes. We're just all girls now as well, having a good crack at the AFLW, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are just human. And, you know, I soon learned, like, particularly when social media ramped up, it was like the amount of scrutiny you would get, and just, you know, if we didn't win on the weekend or you didn't perform, you just copped a lot. And, you know, it impacted me quite a lot in the early phases, but then I soon realised it was like, these people they're really passionate about the club, they just want you to win, but at the same time, I felt like they had a lot of shit going on in their life. This is what I learned. A lot of shit going on in their life, that it was their avenue to vent, to express emotion, to get angry. And in the end, I was like, look, if I have to be the one who absorbs all of that to make them feel a little bit better, then okay, happy to. So, I quickly learned that the ones that would really just, you know, give you shit or whatever it may be, they actually had a fair bit going on in their life too. So
you said it affected you, how so?
It's not easy to fucking just cop it, you know. It's just you know, around form and performance, like, yes, it hurts, but you can swallow that. And I soon learned, like, it was nearly a water off the duck's back by the end of the career, but that was after a lot of carrying and being at such a big footy club too. Your own fans and whatever can be very passionate and just want you to perform, but the better you got, you also carried more. They expected you to perform well each and every week. So there was the own internal stuff around going, all right, I need to show up here, or, you know, someone will be coming for you. And that's the nature of it. You know, there'll be media personnel, but fans as well. But and at times it really did get to me where it impacted, you know, a number of days and weeks following a shitty performance or whatever it may be that didn't stack up, more so internally, to how I wanted to play. But yeah, I think in the end, it's like, I understood why people get so passionate. They just fucking want you to go well, want the team to go well, and they're just venting their frustrations for the shit they're got going on in their life too.
The mindset that you have makes me think that perhaps you're an overthinker as well. Like when you're like doing that obsessive.
Yeah. No, it's a fair shout. I probably am in general. Yeah, I'm very future focused and just like cogs are always ticking.
Yeah, for sure. Because I very much, when I started researching this conversation and learning that, I was like, we're going to have a good chat, because I definitely struggle. I think it's a gift in a way, because you can lock in. Yes. But at the same time, the emotional waves can be fairly high. You can be like really good one day, and then the next day you wake up and you're like, but I think that's what I used to be like. But I think you've done a lot of work on yourself now to sort of move away from that feeling and just like work towards acknowledging the fact that, or detachment, I think. Yes. Danny mentioned.
No, bang on.
The good things are going to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, spot on. And I think, you know, around the overthinking piece, I think it's also ties into me. I'm a very big people pleaser. I don't want to let others down, and it really hurts me if I do feel like I'm letting others down, and that tied into performance. If I feel like, you know, I didn't perform the way I would have liked, I felt like I was letting our fans and members down, letting teammates down, you know. And often it's just not the case. It's just like, geez, you have shit days. Everyone has shit days. And it's sort of the quicker I could, you know, accept a poor performance and go, all right, let's lock back into the routine, clear that as quickly as I possibly could, get back to my most optimistic, bubbly, fucking joyful self, then performance quickly turns around. So, yeah. Thanks, brother. Little blue bandit.
Middle blue. There's electrolytes in there as well.
Love that.
So that performance piece is an interesting one as well. I sort of touched on it before. Like, how did you, and I think you did sort of mention that before, like the whole, like overcoming that expectation, I guess. Was that something, I guess, you sort of naturally always have as a player then, that the expectation to perform?
Yeah.
That's sort of hard to shake.
I think so. Look, I probably haven't prodded it enough, boys, but I think at the elite level, your own expectations are greater than anyone else's. You know, you're your own harshest critic. And yeah, I think that was it. Like, probably no one whacked me more than I whacked myself after a shit game, or if the team's been struggling for a number of weeks or whatever it may be, or I felt like I'd let a teammate down or whatever it may be. So I think the quicker I learnt to be a bit more lighter on myself, just accept the nature of elite sport, that there's going to be the ebb and flow and up and down of performance, but trying to iron out that as much as I could. It was more around, you know, my mental capacity to stay as stable as I possibly could that really helped level out my performances as well.
Proud and privileged to be leading this team in 2017. This is the post you put up in 2017.
There you go.
The leadership I have around me will make my job a whole lot easier. Thanks to all my family, friends, members and supporters for your kind words and support. I love your work. Do you remember writing that?
I don't remember writing that. Yeah,
it's a pretty small, you know, it's not a huge
little clip, but
yeah.
Wise words from a young 24-year-old Dice.
Yeah.
Look, incredible moment. Something I never really set out to do, to captain the club. I just, you know, was always just inspired by the other leaders around me in terms of, and in particular Job. Job Watson carried the team through enormous adversity, but was just a genuine warrior, you know, inspiration on field and great character and caring person off field. So
he's in property now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's property advocate, buyer's advocate. So he's got his own firm. Yeah,
couldn't find it.
There you go. No, he's a weapon wizard. He's great. But yeah, look, learning so much off him and the other guys around me, and I found, you know, I was probably I tried to emulate him early in my captaincy, probably to my detriment. Tried to do too much, tried to just dominate every game as Job would naturally, but soon found, you know, my natural leadership I was voted in just for being me, being that, you know, that real, optimistic, passionate, caring type of person, and just got back to that. It took me a couple of years really to find my real feet and feeling really content and confident in my leadership, knowing I had a healthy respect from the playing group, but you know, leadership's, you're never going to be anyone's perfect leader, and there's no end point to it. So I grew a lot over the 6 years in my tenure as captain. But yeah, just like, you know, sitting back now and looking back at the calibre and names of players that have captained the footy club are genuine Hall of Famers of the AFL, some of them. I go, that's pretty cool to be, you know, named alongside them.
I remember you saying, I've got in bold here, you're not everyone's cup of tea as a leader, and that's because I think you said you were too optimistic at times.
Yeah, I guess so, but that, you know, it was never forced. Naturally, I'm just want to get the best out of any scenario you're in. And always, I'm a glass half full type of lad. There's always something good to gain and always an opportunity rather than seeing it as a burden or challenge. So, but as you say, in an AFL environment, any elite environment, you got so many different characters.
Egos.
Yeah, no doubt. And this is it. But I soon, you know, managed to go and feed off and lean on other players that had areas that they were great at that I wasn't so good at. Other guys that were great at handling confrontation and having hard conversations, which was a big one that I had to learn, or at least learn my own way about going about it, around asking the question and coming from a place of care, rather than just barreling someone. So I learned a lot off different characters. One springs to mind in BJ Goddard when he came to the club. Learned so much off BJ. We were similar characters in terms of our drive, our discipline, our dedication, upholding standards, but different in the way, you know, he was unbelievable at just being so demanding on his teammates to be the best versions of themselves and to uphold the values that we'd instilled at the footy club. So, he learned so much off Beach, but we also butted heads at times, which is great though. Like I think that's a key part of an elite environment. You're going to butt heads at times as long as it's coming from a place of respect and knowing that you care for each other, then great.
Yeah, I think if you're butting heads, it means you're equally passionate, I guess. It's probably the right way of putting it.
Absolutely, yeah.
I was going to ask what a fly on the wall would have seen when you were sort of reacting about your performance, but I guess it's probably worth what would a Kate seen instead of a fly? Like, were you coming home and not kicking off furniture like you were back in the glory days?
No, that's it. True that. Fuck, thank God I wasn't like that.
Yeah.
No, I think it was probably more just a real moody, distant, lack of presence, just like sucked the joy out of my days. That's probably what she certainly would say and have witnessed. But, she'd like, KT had come to a lot of my games when I was young, and then, I'd get her in the car after a game. We'd go back to Windy Hill. She'd sit there at midnight while I'm sitting in an ice bath and me just venting about the game just gone or whatever it may be. And she just carried so much and was there just to listen, support. It was just like, she was an unbelievable rock and pillar of strength right throughout everything throughout my career, but was my biggest fan too. Like if she was voting on the Brownlow, I would have won 12 of the things. So just an incredible, best friend and now wife throughout the journey.
What's the best thing about her?
Best thing about her? KT. She's very, I love the way she goes about it in terms of she just, like her motto is like, do what makes you happy and fuck the rest. It's like, I'm going to just get the most out of my life as I possibly can, have as much fun as I can. And she's got so much love and care for the close crew in her life. She can be a hard one to crack for people that don't know her that well. She's very welcoming to a group, but I think to her close crew, she'll give absolutely anything for them. Yeah.
That was the first photo I could find of you two together.
The coldest. Yeah, that's classic.
You remember that? Is that
Pyramid Rock.
Okay.
Pyramid Rock Festival, back at Phillip Island in the day. I don't think it still runs, but we had a couple of good festies in the day. But fun times back as kids. She was still going through school when I got drafted. I was in year 12. She was in year 11 when we got together. She'd come down on the bus when I was in the city living out in Essendon. She'd leave school, get on the bus, come down to Melbourne, get off at Spencer Street, get a train out to Essendon, and then eventually get to my joint. So she put in a heap of hours and big effort just to come and see me every weekend. And I don't know how she stayed with me at times because I was like, I don't know, it'd be a bit of a shocking boyfriend early days, just being so driven and focused on my career to get the most out of myself that a lot of the time that I put into her was non-existent. So very grateful for her for putting up with a lot of my shit.
That's why I'm not seeing anyone at the moment. I think it'd be hard. I just think avoid the hassle.
Yeah, well, mate, there was zero hassle from my end with KT, but she was up for anything that I wanted to do and stuck by me and I guess prioritized me over anything else and knew she in deep down that I was pursuing something really meaningful. And for her to have that awareness just to be there right throughout, it's quite incredible.
She said on a post, one of my favourite photos of the birthday boy and me back in the day. I was obsessed with you here and I'm still obsessed with you today. You're amazing. And then I'll show you the photo that you put up. It was that one.
Cute.
Done my homework.
I think that was you have. You've dug deep here.
Yeah.
Did she write that or I write that?
She wrote that.
She wrote that. That's
how about you?
Sweet as.
Yeah.
That's I think that's actually before another festival we're about to go to. So, look, I think, and that's that's nice. It ties in fittingly to her. It's like I just want to experience fun things together and doing it together. And that was, I think, the one thing throughout the career was she in particular sacrificed so many moments and memories that we didn't get to have together, I guess, because you're full noise on a weekend. And, in terms of even having a beer together, I was so disciplined around drinking and timing of that, and being really aware of my body feeling good, having to back up for training that, we sacrificed a lot of those fun moments and joyful times throughout the career just to pursue it to the highest level as I possibly could. So, I didn't think much of it throughout, but look back now and go, fuck, like, yeah, she went through the whole journey with me, sacrificed so much, wanted nothing more than for me to succeed, but also wanted nothing more than just to have fun with me, which now I'm very excited to do post-career and have these opportunities to do these things. So, I sit here going, it's probably about time that I really give more of myself to doing whatever KT wants to do and just having fun with her and just, going to get after different things together.
That's something I noticed doing the stalk this morning. It's like, despite all of what you just said, it was like you're a real team.
Yeah, yep. And look, we've gone through a shitload of different challenges, as all relationships do. Never always just rosy as can be, and I think the toughest period, to be honest, haven't really spoken about this, has probably been post-career, like in the last 8, 9, 10 months. I retired, had so much love and support coming in. Those initial couple of months were great, but then the reality of it's all finished, all said and done, my day-to-day, of being an AFL player is finished when, part of me didn't know what to do with myself. And I went through, phases of, wouldn't say, it was poor mental health. It was just poor, just not feeling like my true self and not being able to give as much as I would have liked to Kate. And just went through a few mental struggles throughout, probably the 4 to 8 months post-retirement. And we just got married at the end of January as well. And then we'd started a business together. And so there was a lot going on through this phase of our life. But I think really proud now of navigating that together, opening up about how we're both feeling within the relationship, communicating that really strongly, and just like wanting to be back as, the best versions of us and back feeling like a team again, that now we're in an awesome space and having fun and feeling, a lot lighter again. So
what was the hardest part about that period?
Hardest part was probably, I think it was all coming from me. I think it was more so that throughout my career, I'd always verbalised to Kate that whenever I do retire, I'll give you everything. Whatever you want, we'll go and do. And I think we'd said we were going to travel throughout this year. Thanks, mate. That stuff's elite. Said, we'll go and do a good 5-6 months overseas, and then all of a sudden I just make the decision off my bat to go and play footy again at Port Melbourne. So that sort of puts a fork in those plans, and then Kate just feeling again a bit unheard, unseen, and not like she was part of that decision making, So it was probably that selfish nature that I'd always, that part of being an elite athlete can be like. It's quite a selfish nature to it. It was all about me and getting the best out of myself, and found it hard to break that mold. And I think that between the two of us, it was probably just a lot of the natural fun and lightness and joy of our relationship had gone. And Kate was always just there to prod me and be like, let's go, let's get back to us being the best we can. And it just took a period of me just navigating the heaviness of retirement, which I've got a lot of empathy towards guys that really struggle during that period. And then just getting myself back to fucking loving life again and just loving being a great team with Kate again. Yeah.
Around 10 operations, 15 old cortisones, multiple stitches, 4 root canals, and I didn't write that it was from Hodgie. 4 root canals from Hodgie, and a whole heap of mental demons to navigate along the way. This journey has been built with been worth every bit of that. I'll miss the pre-game nerves and excitement, staring at you boys in the eyes with the knowing I'm going to give it everything, and for you and the jumper. I'll miss running through the banner with the little tackers, seeing the pure joy in their faces. They say it all goes quickly, but it certainly does. And I'm envious of the young boys embarking on your careers. I'd go back there and do it all again if I could.
Yeah, the old retirement speech. It's pretty cool hearing that again. It brings up a lot of emotion because it's like just how much it meant, like how much it shaped me as a person, like the entire career, the people I've met, the players, the support staff, the coaches, the fans, and just like, and just looking back to a little 5-year-old kid with a dream to do it and, actually achieving everything he ever wanted, bar premiership. But I look back now with absolutely no sadness or regret about that. It's just like, all the ups and downs and the things I learned throughout those periods and how proud I am of how I navigated those periods and grew so much through them. Yeah, it's incredible, and just the awesome sheer joy and emotion that you share in big wins, and running, as you say, running out with the little mascots each week and just getting right around the little tackers, knowing that this might be a moment that they'll never forget, making that as special as I can. And
I think I saw H mention in a speech for your 250th, I think. And part of what he said, we've said so many good memories together. And the first thing he said was running out the banner. Do you remember that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We over the career, we managed to run out a few times together, and so fun. Like just seeing how much it lights up, H-Man or any kid's face when you're steaming out onto the MCG or any ground around Australia, and hearing the eruption and the roar of the crowd and the theme song playing, and just to get to see a kid just having pure joy, just like loving it. It's like, that's and I tried to really harness that type of emotion throughout the rest of my career, the latter part of what it felt like when I was a 5-year-old running around at Auskick with Hurdy's number on my back and running amok with my mates. Like, that's the feeling that I wanted to try and tap into. Running out onto the MCG in front of 100,000.
The big 2-1.
There you go.
I'm 21st of August, so
there you go.
lucky one.
Good
You mentioned
number.
the mental demons before. Is there a specific low or anything? I think you mentioned it before. The drugs was probably the lowest. Do you think? Yeah, I'm assuming that was.
No doubt. Yeah, that was the most trying period for sure.
How so?
Yeah, just in terms of like the whole the heaviness and the dark cloud that it put over footy and the love of the game.
What did you learn about yourself during that period?
What did I learn about myself? I learned how much I could actually handle, the depth of shitstorm and the heaviness of what was going on, and going, fuck, like, getting through it, going, man, I've actually handled a fair bit here, and I've come out the other side of it and I'm okay, and it's like, cool. And formed really healthy habits throughout that time, got more curious about meditation, gratitude, and I had great conversations with psychologists and normalised that, seeing a psych, and having deeper conversations with friends and teammates about how they're feeling.
Were you emotional a lot throughout that period? What was the main emotion? Well, were you emotional? What was the main feeling, I guess?
Oh, well, it's a fair point around emotion. Like, a lot of it was numbness. A lot of it was tried to bury a lot of what was happening and push it aside, and it was just like a blank sort of, just numbness throughout a lot of it. But once I think I really allowed the emotion to be there and feel it all, that was when I could process it more, and probably wasn't until the latter part of 2016 or even longer that I could really just come to grips with it and not feel uncomfortable talking about it, and not feel sad and bitter and angry. Like, it took me a period just to mature, to get in touch with how I was actually feeling, who I wanted to be, how I wanted to handle it, forgive all of those that were involved in it at the time, and forgave myself for everything that I'd been through and how I handled things, and then just had a lot of love for that version of me, for going through it all and handling the way I did. So learned so much, man, throughout that time.
It's sort of like when you look at a hard time. I'm trying to reframe a lot of my decisions and my thoughts at the moment around hard times being it's almost like an accumulation of hard times, and then at the end of it is like a good thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. You fucking, everyone says it. Everyone says it, like you learn so much through adversity and these challenging times. But until you go through it and experience it yourself, and having said that, you need amazing support, the right frameworks, the right tools to be able to get to that point to come out the other side of it, feeling incredible with lessons learned. But yeah, it's true, man. Like, you do. Adversity can be an amazing platform for growth and achievement and success and fulfillment.
I remember Danny saying, or I had a chat with him before, and he said that you used to control the outcome and everything was fixated on you being successful and winning. How was it hard to apply that mindset, I guess, to the situation that you were in at the time. Like, how did that weigh on it? Like, especially coming back.
Yeah. Well, I guess having so much of that being out of our control, out of my control, where everything that was going on the outside was fucking challenging. That was the hard part. But then I think coming out of that was like, all right, I guess really dialing into, you know, what success, what achievement looks like for me now. You know, it was all about early days when you're young. It's all about like individual accolades, going really well, best and fairest, all Australian, you know, and soon you achieve those things. And then it quickly goes to, you know, you just want to help others achieve team success. And then getting to a point of like, I purely just get so lit up, and success and achievement looked like to me towards the back end was developing those around me, and seeing the joy, how much joy others can get from their footy and achieving, and the culture and the vibe that you can create around the club to be a part of. So, you know, it was a real sort of shift in terms of that, what success, what achievement looked like for me, and having control over those elements. Like I could control how much I gave to other boys around me, how much I could celebrate their little wins along the way, how they're growing and developing and getting better, and control the energy and attitude that I rocked up to each and every session and game day with. So there was nice little, I guess, frames that I put in place to ensure that I was, you know, able to control those elements rather than the wins and losses.
It was no doubt a very challenging time, that whole period. I learned a whole lot about myself through those times and built a real strong mental resolve and resilience off the back of it. I don't look back at it with any animosity or remorse. I managed to move on and forgive really quickly, and that was part of me trying to free myself. In the end, it built an enormous strength of character and a deep bond and relationship with the guys that I went through it with. I don't think it's a negative part of my career. I just think it's a phase and something that I'm very proud of the way I handled during that period.
Yeah, bang on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's just like, I think we've touched on a lot of that, but it still rings true. It's just like, you know, I don't wish it upon anyone else. Don't encourage anyone else to go through something like it. But as you say, it's a unique journey. It's a unique, no one else will ever go through it. And it's just, as you say, I think that pride and just like look back going, fucking oath, you handled yourself as best you possibly could throughout that period. So, I think, it's just that element of pride to know, and knowing that any other hardships that come my way going forward, that I have the capacity, I have the tools now coming off the back of that to handle it.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It sort of pales anything that you do, I guess, from... I'm hoping you don't ever feel the point. Like numbness is like a shocker. That's like the worst it can get almost. Numbness is like you don't want to get out of bed, I suspect. So to overcome that and then to be on the path you're on now, it's credit to you, man.
Thanks, Mum. Yeah.
I also saw a quote from your partner, and I'm reeling off the quotes here, but you said, "What a man, what a career, a huge 14 years of 100%, sheer dedication, highs and lows, fun, grit, sweat, and everything in between, but mostly just love. Your love for the game, for the club, for the fans, the players, both past and present, the staff, your friends and your family, the love I've had watching you do the things you love day in, day out, the friendships we've made, the people we've met, the places it's taken us. I admire you. I'm unbelievably proud of you. I'm so grateful for you. You gave it everything and more every single day. There's no one better. Here's to you. Love you."
Cracker. That's great. Yeah. Well said, KT. Oh, no, that's amazing. And it's sort of... as was said, like she's on the button with all of it. It's just like, fuck, gave it a good dig, gave it my absolute all for the game that I loved and will always love. So, she's been able to reflect enough on the journey now, and it's just like, it's pretty cool to have gone through it all. And it's really interesting now, you know, coming out the back end of it, and just excited for this next chapter now, though. It's like, footy, I feel like I've put a proper full stop and stamp in that chapter of my life. And now it's like absorbing and taking everything that I've learned along the way to this next chapter that looks completely different. So
what's that, mate? Cool. What's exciting you at the moment?
Oh man, well, a number of things. I think I've got to a point now where I'm just really curious and open to different opportunities that come up. So I've loved little things like this podcast, talking, chewing the fat, little speaking gigs.
Eating the fat as well.
Eating the fat, smacked a huge ass tomahawk, nailed that. And then, the most meaningful, purposeful piece is building out the Haych the Label, our business that we founded together with myself, Kate, and little H man, little Harrison. And that's my day to day. That's what lights me up. What I love talking about more than anything. And it's given me a real creative side too that I didn't know I had in terms of design and manufacturing and finding the best quality materials and cuts and things like that. So it's a whole chapter that I never thought I'd be diving down. But one that I'm really excited by and passionate to grow and give as much of myself to as I can.
How's that little man change your life?
Yeah, little H man. What a little king. Met him 2017. He was 5 years old at the time. He'd been diagnosed with a condition called scleroderma, same condition as my grandmother, my Oma, passed away from. And he was the youngest in the world to be diagnosed with scleroderma. And, meeting this kid, having gone through all the adversity that he had to handle at such a young age, and seeing his outlook on life, love he had for others, his exuberance towards just getting after things. I was so inspired by the kid. And, he gave me a real perspective in terms of challenges, in terms of losing a games of footy meant absolutely fuck all.
I remember you saying he called you, I think it was this is just before you walked in the door. I listened to you say that he had called you because he was worried and you had a bad game or something, and then he called you and saying he was losing a finger.
Yeah, true. Moments like that. That's right. Yeah. He's quite prone to different infections due to the condition, and he's had to have a number of fingers amputated. And I think, it was a moment where I'd had a poor game. We'd lost a number on the number of games on the trot. And he gave me a buzz just saying he was a bit worried about an upcoming operation that he was having the next day. And, here's me just trying to be there for him, but also just wallowing in my own shit. And then he goes, well, yeah, I'm actually having a finger amputated tomorrow. And it's like, bang, sort of hits you in the face to go, yeah, look, my problems aren't big at all. So, gives you a real perspective piece. And you're someone in my life that I'm extremely grateful for. And, along with Kate, we've formed an awesome relationship with their family, and has sparked a real interest and business post-career for something that I've got a lot of passion towards. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, you spoke about before, the whole, what it does for you to actually get around people and support them. So it sounds like this is all, and I used the word destiny before, but it sounds like you were always destined to do something that was helping others. So to pour all of your time and energy into something that is indirectly helping with a purpose. I mean, I think I heard Bob Proctor say, or I think he said, your purpose explains what you're doing with your life. Your vision explains how you're living with your purpose, and your goals enable you to realize your vision.
That's cool. Yep.
Yeah. So it's like that.
That's nice.
There is an underlying purpose. You've got a bigger vision.
Sure. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And it was like I think having the idea had been brewing. So the idea itself being the kit, the clothing label, and all the slogans, artworks, and designs are H Man's. The graphics on the kit are all inspired by H. So, it's got these beautiful little touch points of Harrison's mark right throughout the kit. And we had the idea for simmering for a number of years, and it's amazing the timing of things. I retire, and just with us building it all out, it launched about a month after I'd retired. So just having this thing to roll into straight away post-career was incredible. It's been so beneficial in terms of, having a real meaning and purpose and for this new chapter. And then, but also navigating this spot of Kate and I working together after freshly getting married, and me being that obsessive, intense nature of, wanting to get after it. It's been at times all consuming, where all I would talk about is H, and the growth of the business and how much further we can help H Man and all this kind of stuff. And it got to a point where it was like, can we just chill? Can we put a marker on like how much we're talking about the business and get to a point of just like being normal?
Just are you at that point, do you think? Or?
Yeah, I think I've actually respected KT in that. Yeah, like, oh, well, no, I think it's more just like I can still get absolutely everything out of building the brand and the label out as I possibly can, but also don't need to be so forceful and wired and dialed in towards it. I can still have a bit of lightness and keep connecting to the reason why we started it in the first place, around that, that real purpose and mission around, lighting up H-Man and other kids that are going through challenging periods in their life. So once we connect to that, or I do, it gives me a lot more just ease around the challenges that come with creating a business. Yeah.
Another quote for you, mate. I found it a few years ago. You said, "Super grateful to have H-Man in my life. He'd just come out of an operation, so he was a little spaced out and had a mouthful of gauze, so he couldn't talk too much for a change. He's such a bloody trooper. He's been through more than anyone I can imagine at the age of 11, and he does keep showing up with a smile on his face and warms the heart of everyone around him. I love this kid so much."
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Some belter quotes from us. Yeah, special. Just like, just lots of little moments that pop up around, the things that he's faced. I've spent a number of times, sitting by his bed at Royal Children's after him having to come out of an operation or being in theatre, and that continues to this day. Every 2 weeks he's in for regular treatments where he gets, he's fully under general anaesthetic and goes through some very painful experiences.
Is that hard for you?
It is, but in a way it's, the way I see him handle it is just like, fuck, like it's incredible. But yeah, I think, also just, tough one to put into words, because it's like, I just can't fathom having to go through that every couple of weeks where, he gets fully put under general. His whole skin gets washed down, cleaned down, which in itself would be excruciating if he was awake. And then he wakes up, in a full haze and in pain at times, and then just have to butter up throughout that arvo while having drips and stuff in his arm to, spin the healthy properties and back through his body to keep him ticking. And then front up at school the next day like nothing's happened, like crazy. So, he just keeps punching on, just an absolute weapon.
That whole switching off piece, I remember you said before earlier that you struggled. I'm assuming all of this just makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, no doubt. I was, very right throughout my career, and only till recently have I learnt to actually chill, to relax, to really just feel content in doing nothing.
What do you think was the trigger for that?
Probably multiple conversations with Kate and really understanding that maybe I've got it backwards. Maybe my way of being can be different. Maybe I can have more ease and be more present throughout my days and get more joy out of the small everyday things rather than being so just
locked in.
Yeah, locked in, or locked in, which led to stress and anxiety at times. It's just like, can I just be way more present and stop being future focused and worried about what's coming up rather than just being here and having fun in the now, and that's just the way Kate rolls about things, and probably me taking on a bit more of her vibe and getting on her level with things rather than it all being my way. So, big lessons.
What do you think you've learnt most about yourself from viewing H and everything that he's gone through? Like, I guess it's sort of an extension of what we have spoken about before, but like, is there something, or is it gratefulness? I'm not sure what it is. Probably accumulation of things, like you said before as well.
Yep, definitely accumulation of things, but I think gratitude is a massive piece of it, of just around, around the life I've been fortunate enough to live, around the people that are in my life, around my health, my body, my mind. Just, the opportunities that I've been so fortunate to have. I think that sums it up nicely around just like a real, I feel like that's the energy that he portrays, is just like gratitude to be alive, gratitude for the small moments, let alone the big bucket list things. It's like, yeah, he's just doing his thing and just having fun along the way. It's like, yeah, cool. I've learned so much through a little pocket rocket, which has been pretty cool.
It's interesting you talk about I've absorbed a lot of your content, and I saw and noticed, I guess, a lot of when he's around you, he's just like so, energetic. But I observed the change in you as well.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
Like,
okay, yeah. Good shit.
How he makes you feel as well.
Yeah.
And it's like you go through it, you're always smiling, you're rubbing his head. Like you really get a lot out of him. I
do. Yeah. Nah. And as we've said, like the feeling I get from hanging out with him, far outweighs what I've given to him. What we've done for Haych. We get far greater kickback in terms of the joy and the inner fulfillment through having played a small part in his life. Which is pretty sick. It's cool. It's that nature of like, yeah, the more we put time into trying to help and make him feel good, the more we get back from that as well.
He said, when we met in 2018 around game 140, I felt honoured that you included me in your AFL career. This is game 250, I think.
Yeah.
Everyone at Essendon Football Club is so lucky to play with you. You make us feel special in our own way. We have spared special moments together, like running through the banner. I yelled at you on the TV watching the TV at home. We love you because you put a smile on everyone's face, and when you came into my life, you made it worth living. Congrats, Dyson. I hope your heart is full like mine. Go Bombers.
It's pretty sweet, that, isn't it? That was incredible. That was a really special moment and a surprise. The club had teed that up. I didn't know he was going to be there or even speak, and he nailed it. He just he made me very emotional, in that moment of like, some big comments in that, but like the element of like when he came into my life, making my life worth living, it's like, fuck, like things like that really hit home where you feel like, I've been able to in some way have a small part in giving him a bit of joy, giving him a bit of ease and maybe potentially distraction from everything he's had to go through. And just so fortunate to have the opportunity to do that, and footy has brought that. The Essendon Footy Club's brought that. So, so much to be thankful and grateful for, yeah.
What's going to make you happy in 5 years, mate? Tough question.
5 years, righto. Well, man, me just saying all of this trying not to be too future focused, but man, I just hope like that rearrangement of what success and achievement looks like for me. I just want a real inner peace, real just lightness and joy in my life, and just be fulfilled with and content without having to have all the external things, the validation from others, and just be so peaceful within myself and within my relationships. I hope to just keep cultivating, great relationships, having awesome conversation, and just like, putting time into helping others along the way, but also having a real drive and desire to get after whatever lights me up, whatever I'm passionate about. So 5 years time, man, who knows where the hell I'm going to be? Who knows what we're doing? But hopefully just having a good crack at whatever it is, but feeling very present and at peace within myself.
Do you think you would have said that at my age, 29? Because I'm like very much in the, yeah. I mean, I think it's a different type of level of motivation when you need to like pay rent in a few months.
Yeah. But this is the thing.
Go.
There's no element of like, man, I'm still getting after it. You know what I mean? But with as much lightness as I can, because what I have learnt when I'm in a space of, really good energy, joyful, high frequency, people, conversations, places, opportunities come into your life. They just flow in. I don't know whether it's nature or the universe. However it works, when you raise your frequency and get to a really just, fun, joyful space, things work out. So when you're in a state of worry, doubt, fear, anxiety, you attract more of that into your life. So, this might be a bit esoteric, but it's fact. And
is there an example of something like that? Your life, or something that's come in your life recently that is a result of that? Or is it like we've used the word accumulation a few times?
Yeah, I think, well, it's probably more so looking back at the career at the times when I was in this real space of having fun, just being, so joyful and not so pent up, worried, stressed about performing and having a bad game, that I got in a nice flow, and game days were just so much fun, and just not going in hoping I was going to play well, removing a lot of the expectations. It was like I've locked into my process throughout the week. I've enjoyed it. And now let's just go and give it everything on game day. And all of a sudden you get in a nice little rhythm, and things would just start happening and panning out. And it flows into life as well, man. So I think every day, it's hard to absorb. It can be hard to absorb until you experience that feeling and witness it for yourself. So take it with a grain of salt if you're listening. But at the end of the day, if you are feeling great, joyful, peaceful, then fucking awesome, no matter what's going on.
I remember you saying, I think it was this conversation, I think your third potty with Dan, and you said, had you known what you know now, it would have been easier to deal with some of the struggles at the start.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I guess that just comes with growing up. Yeah. Comes with maturing, and you would have said, I wouldn't, even a few years ago at 29, I wouldn't have had this same outlook. I've learned a lot throughout this period, but absolutely. But at the same time, I probably wouldn't be at the stage I am now in terms of my, I guess, emotional maturity without having gone through all of that. So there's part of you that does need to experience some real difficulty to feel fucking good. Yeah.
Is there a memory that stands out with little H man for you?
Oh, multiple. First time I met him, he was so shy, actually, the very first time when he came out to the club, and hardly said a word until the back end of that hour or so that we spent together. And
you got the footy out.
Yeah, you got the footy out. Started running a mark. Got to see his cheeky little character. And then it was just guns blazing from there on. But moment like that, running out with him on the ground for the first time. I remember playing Nerf guns around the Royal Children's Hospital when he was like 6 or 7. And then just like these bucket list opportunities that we've had the chance to do together has been pretty cool. And seeing him, even seeing his relationship grow with Kate, and his brother Miller and Kate are really tight as well. So that's been really cool to see too.
A lot of good things happening for you, man.
Thanks, my man, yeah.
I said yesterday that I was in a bit of a rut, and I pulled out this song and this song came on shuffle. And it hit me.
Right.
And I'm really good sometimes when I'm in those mindsets. I'll basically sit there and I'll say, what's something good, or what's something good that can come out of this? And I kept playing this song back because I just put it on repeat because it was just jamming me up. But it's a sad song.
Right.
And I was like, then I started listening to a conversation with you, and then I just put that song back on because it was like,
yeah, got you in a zone.
Got me in the zone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what can I do? This song's just in the moment. And then I thought of something cool.
Right, what do you got?
I'm going to show you.
All right.
I'm going to show you.
Classic.
I'm not going to explain.
Fuck, I don't know what I'm in for here, bro.
I'm not going to explain anything. All you got to do is press the space bar.
Okay.
Love you.
Oh, man.
Sure.
Oh, brother, well done. Mate, that's incredible, bro. Well
Pulled
done.
that together yesterday.
Mate, thank you. That was really special. That's really special, man. That's so cool.
Yeah,
You
took
put
me
a
a bit
bit
of
into
time.
that, mate. That's
Yeah, yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
No, very grateful, brother. Like, he brings up a lot of emotion around that, you know, just seeing him as a little tacker and the evolution of him growing up, you know. Crazy, man. That's so sick. Really appreciate that, Buzz. That's
No,
cool.
I'll send it to you after, obviously.
Legend, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, no, that was something because obviously I absorbed a lot of the content and I was like, there's just something, and that's why I asked to try and speak with his mum, because I was like, I want to do something special just because there's so much that you've done for him, and I'm assuming you get told all the time that you're doing a good job. You're well done for doing that. But to sort of just like see it and I like that, I was like, yeah, I want to do something like that. Yeah.
Good from you, brother. Great work. Thank you, mate. That's fucking really special. Thank you. Yeah.
Is there anything, I know you've done a lot of potties and stuff recently, is there anything that you'd want to touch on that you haven't spoken about today?
Mate, we've covered bases. We've covered bases. No, I'm stoked, man. Really appreciate the chat. And yeah, no, I'm fucking, the steak was unbelievable. We're dialed in with some of the good stuff. So no, really appreciate it, bro, and very grateful for having me on, man. Thank you.
Man. Hopefully I can do it in the studio. There'll be an evolution like Danny one day.
Yeah, true.
I'm aiming for my own studio though. I want my own studio.
Mate, you'll nail this. Don't worry about that.
Man. Appreciate that.
Good, man.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, brother.
So good.
Beauty. Well done, bro. Well done.
That was good.
That's great, bro. That's good stuff.
Yeah, that was
Great chat, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
I'm glad.
Work. You know, you flowed that nicely.
Really? Yeah, I'm glad I almost didn't have you on when I asked you last time. I was a bit scattered last time.
Yeah, good job.
So
that's fucking special, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really it took me like 3.5 hours.
Ages,
yeah, it
bro.
took me
Seriously.
ages. Yeah.